The most common cause of pain for golfers is the lower back and the knees. Today, Ferdi is going to show us his routine and what he does to combat that. All right, Ferdi, we have the first exercise, the RDL. Do you want to jump into it?
Yeah, sure. So I prefer to have dumbbells here versus a barbell just because I feel like it's just stacks better and it kind of makes sure you don't have any imbalances. So one thing I focus on a lot is when I'm going down, I kind of make sure that my butt's sticking out backwards. I keep my knees slightly flexed, and then it's just kind of go down until you kind of feel stretch. You're going to feel a pretty good stretch in your hamstrings, and then back up. And I'll do probably, 3 to 5 sets of 5 to 8 reps. I like to, again, focus on just making sure I feel a stretch at the bottom. This makes sure that my lower back is getting stronger and, will help prevent a lot of back injuries while we're golfing. As we know, with us being golfers, we put a lot of stress on our lower back and a ton of stress on our knees.
And with this, you're using dumbbells right here, like you just mentioned. Do you feel like you usually go lighter instead of going heavier because you do golf, many times per week, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think for golfers who are golfing, a couple times a week, coming to the gym is more of a getting looser, staying mobile versus trying to load really, really, really heavy. I'm sure if you guys have certain times you guys take off during the season or a couple weeks off when you're on vacation, you can load heavier. Mm-hmm. But I would say, generally speaking, I'm more of a higher rep, lower weight kind of guy.
Good. Makes sense. All right, Ferdi, next exercise, Jefferson curl. Do you usually use this weight when you do it?
Yeah, I'll use somewhere between probably, 10 and 15 pounds. Again, if you're new at this, definitely start light. There's no error in starting light. So for us golfers, a lot of times that setup, we're going to have a rounded back. So Jefferson curl makes you strong in that position. I tuck my chin into my chest and then just kind of slowly go down. Try to keep my knees as locked as possible and get down as deep as possible and then work your way back up. Again, I'll probably do 3 or 4 sets of about 8 to 10 of these while just maintaining my chin to my chest. Again, so as golfers, when we set up, you're not setting up like this. Your back's rounded and you're getting very comfortable in that. And again, as we hit impact, there's gonna be a lot of stress on the lower back. This keeps you very flexible and kind of, you're basically doing what you're doing in real life, but just with weights, and it makes sure that your lower back stays nice and strong.
Makes sense. And do you normally go heavier than this, or is this kind of the weight range that you stay at?
I've been working my lower back for quite some time now, so I can go a little bit heavier, but there's, again, like I said in the beginning, there's really nothing wrong with starting off with, 5 pounds. This is not an ego contest. This is just, loading your lower back so that it strengthens and gets stronger.
Makes sense. And just as a form point, when you do it, can you just show us a rep again?
Yep.
If you feel, because I'm sure, you mentioned you've been doing this for a while. If you feel like your knees are bending at all, what do you normally do with that? Do you lessen the weight? Do you not go as deep, or what do you do?
Yeah, I would just say probably you're not as flexible, which is, I'm the same. I'm not as flexible as most, I would say. So what I focus on a lot is actually like almost feeling like my knees go backward. Right? Because it makes sure that your knees stay locked. But again, the key thing is to try and keep your legs straight. So if you can't go as deep, well, then just doing this exercise over and over will get you to get deeper and deeper. So I'll do it again.
And when you do it, you still feel a crazy stretch in your hamstring area, right?
Insane amount of stretch,
Yeah.
Yep. And I get all the way down and then back up. So again, a tempo is slower here. This is not a very fast exercise. It's just kind of a, slow down, slow up. Just working on keeping your knees straight. And for me, kind of push back so that I don't slightly get flexed.
All right, Ferdi, next exercise, back extension. Do you normally use a plate like this?
I do. I like to use a plate because for me, as you're going down, it doesn't kind of get in your way. Another thing I want to say too is this exercise using the back extension, doing this exercise for us golfers or anyone who has a current back injury is probably the best because you can regress this to a very easy point.
I can take that.
So for instance, this is at 45, but I can come all the way up here to like 60 degrees and doing this with just body weight, you can get as far as you can get. You also have assistance with the handles. So if like your back's killing you or anything like that, I would just hold on these handles and go down as slow as you can to a point that's pain-free and then just kind of work that range until you get comfortable. And then Quentin and I will show you kind of the next level. Bring this down a little bit. He's going to hand me the bumper plate and I'm going to take it like this and I'm going to kind of go down as far as I can, hold, and then come back up. I like to stop just before I get to the top and kind of hold for about 5 or 10 seconds as that really loads your lower back. And all you have to do is maybe 3 to 5 sets of 5 or 10 reps of this, just like that. So slow down, come up, and just before you get all the way to the top, hold it. doing that will absolutely blitz your lower back.
And Ferdi, you know, someone watching this may say, we've already done RDLs, we've already done Jeff curls. Why are we doing another back exercise? Can you explain why this is different than the other two?
Yeah, so again, I would say that if you're starting off and you have a back injury or really want to prevent a back injury, this would probably be the one that I would work on first until you're really comfortable, your lower back feels good. You know, you can also, like I said, when you get to the top, you can pause, and that really just loads your lower back quickly and makes it quite strong. I would then say throw in the Jefferson curl, and maybe the RDL would be the last version I would do, as that's really going to load your lower back. So maybe step 1, back extensions, step 2, Jefferson curl, and then step 3, work on the RDLs.
Makes sense. And when it comes to your golf game, I mean, you're swinging. I don't play golf, but I've seen your videos. When you swing, all that force and load is going through your back. Obviously your knees as well, but a lot is going through your back as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of us, we go to the range, we hit 100 balls, let's say. You know, that's a lot of load in your lower back. If you are new at golf or even an advanced golfer, you know, at minimum, you're probably swinging at 90 to 100 miles per hour. So you think there's a lot of load on your lower back. You know, as the more advanced stages, you know, I think my swing speed is about 116 miles per hour. So, you know, you're doing that however often. You know, some of the top tier pros are swinging at 130, 140. The long drive guys are at the 180s. Like they're moving. So it's a ton of load in the lower back.
All right, Ferdi, we're set up for the next exercise, the QL. Can you explain to us why this is important for golf?
Yeah, so as we're rotating, there's a lot of, lower back force, but also having your QLs on the side here, very strong, helps stabilize your lower back. Okay. So I can kind of show you some reps, what I do. So you lock yourself here into the back extension. And as I'm going, I'm going to go down. I just hold my right hand here, the opposite hand that your dumbbell's in. And you just kind of go down slowly. And you focus on trying to go as deep as you can, hold it, and then come back up. And what I like to do again is, 3 to 5 sets of maybe 8 to 10 reps of this, just really focusing on locking out at the top. And obviously for us golfers, as we're rotating, there's a ton of force kind of on our lower back for me. So if I'm a right-handed golfer here, so as you're coming down, there's a lot of that. And this right here is going to help stabilize that impact zone for you guys and take a lot of the, stress off your lower back.
Perfect. And Ferdi, with the QL, this is a fair warning to people who haven't done it. If you do it and it's your first time doing it, you're going to get really, really sore. So if you're a golfer and you got a game the next day, please don't do this.
That's a very, very, very good point. So this is probably one of the exercises that if you do it, you will feel it.
Yeah.
So, as Q's mentioning, if you're going to go play around on Saturday, this is not what you do on Friday. You do this on maybe Monday or Tuesday. Give yourself 3 to 4 days to kind of recoup and not feel it.
Makes sense. And as a last point, not everyone's going to have access to a back extension. Let's say you're on the road or you're doing whatever and you don't have access to a gym. You can also do it standing, just like this, where you go down just like that and it hits the similar muscles as well. So just as a point.
A very good point.
Good. Okay, next exercise. Seated good morning. You want to talk us through it?
Absolutely. So this exercise is vital because it really helps kind of stretch your whole inside of your leg, like from your groin kind of all the way down. And it really helps kind of just take the stress off your lower back. If you have a lot of tight muscles here, it really rips at your lower back. So I'll walk you guys through this. So again, I grab dumbbells, okay? I get seated here. You kind of want your legs just to be just outside your shoulders, okay? And a little bit kind of forward of parallel. So, if this was parallel like this, you want it to be just a hair forward.
Yeah, you want your heels. If there's a straight line going down from your knees to the ground, you want your heels in front of that because then that targets the adductor right there.
Exactly. So the key focus on this is to not round your back. So again, you hold it like this. You kind of almost work on the reverse C, kind of keeping your back more straight. And then you just lower down and you go down as far as you can to maintain that. Once you kind of feel like you're going to break it, you stop and then you work your way back up. Another key point is trying to keep your shoulders back while you're doing it. It really helps ensure that you don't round your lower back. You get down there, hold as deep as you can, then come back up. Doing probably about, again, 3 sets of, 8 to 10 reps is perfect for this. As Quentin alluded to in an earlier exercise, you don't do this exercise the day before you're going to go play golf. This would be exercise that you do maybe Monday, Tuesday, and then give yourself some time because you will feel a very good stretch in here, which that's fine, but also load your lower back quite strongly.
Makes sense. And it's important to note, if I can just show really quick,
Yep.
if someone doesn't have that mobility or they want to regress it, they can also incline the bench as well.
Yep.
And incline it as much as they want to do the same thing. But the goal is to get your abs to the bench. So if you're really tight and you feel a nice stretch in your hamstrings and adductors and can't get that low, you can also incline it as much as you need. And again, like you mentioned, if you're playing golf the next day and let's say you feel really tight or you want to get an extra workout in, you can do this by not going as deep but still working that range of motion just like that.
Yeah, agreed.
You just took us through everything to do for the low back, especially everything that you do. We now have these set up. Can you take us through what you do for your knees?
Yeah, no problem. So as we know, a lot of golfers get knee surgeries. You know, Tiger, Jack, I mean, there's a whole plethora of golfers that have had knee surgeries simply because, again, if you're a right-handed golfer and you're bringing your force, it all leads to your lead knee. Like this is that snapping. Again, if you're left-handed, obviously it's your right knee. Boom, there's a lot of snapping here. So you really have to bulletproof your knees. Here's probably the 2 exercises that I'll focus on. And if you do these 2 and you get really good at these 2, your knees will be bulletproof. The first of which is a backwards treadmill. I like this simply because, you know, not a lot of us have access to sleds in the gym. And if you do, great, you can do that as well. But you get up here and you just kind of work on just, you know, walking backwards. It's that simple. You know, with the backwards treadmill, you can specifically increase tension so that it gets harder and harder. And obviously the harder it gets, the more blood and pump you get in your VMO and your knees.
Makes sense.
Next thing I'll work on specifically is a step up here. What I love about this is kind of basically how you can target your VMO specifically and really stabilize the knee. In the beginning, you know, you just get on top of the mobility box. I like a wedge under my heel because it really, again, as your heel increases, it really just gets the angle to be a lot steeper and therefore really focus on this specific muscle. So I'll go down here, I'll work down, get to the bottom. Okay, the key here is going slow. This is not a very fast exercise. I'd almost challenge you to go as slow as possible. I'll work on probably 3 to 5 sets of maybe 10 reps on each side.
And,
so again,
and you can see the muscle that you just mentioned is working.
That's right.
Shaking
This thing right
there.
here is basically shaking and fully loaded at this point. So I'll do a couple reps there, switch sides. Again, on any exercise that you're doing one side or the other, it's very important to do both sides. So again, nice and slow, come back up, nice and slow, come back up. Another thing too is with this mobility box, you've got these things, which is awesome because you can hold on to them and it will help give you some assistance. Okay, now this is what I would consider a higher level. You can literally work this on the floor as well. You know, it can literally just be like this. And for us that have knee pain and so on, this is probably the most like regressible version of this exercise. You do this until this feels comfortable. Then you maybe just get the wedge, you work lower, and as you get more and more advanced, you can scale this higher. But doing those 2 things, you're gonna have incredibly strong knees, and during your golf swing, it won't be a problem.
Makes sense. And when do you recommend doing them? Like right before you play, right afterwards? Like when do you work it into your routine?
So with the sled, whether it's the sled or the backwards treadmill, you can pretty much do that right before the round if you want. It's one of those exercises that gives blood flow to the area, but doesn't really fatigue your area. This one here would be, again, like I was talking about some of the exercises in the lower back. You kind of do this a couple days before. You know, so if you're a weekend warrior like I am, play golf Saturday, I'll do this Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and I'll feel great by Saturday.
Ferdi, I appreciate you taking us through that routine. Ferdi's actually one of the original ATGers and also a crucial staff member for the company. And to learn more about our sport-specific programs, you can go to atgonlinecoaching.com.